Okay, I'm in a demo throwing a small plate with a 2-pound wedge. Should come out to be about a 9-inch plate, which I would call a lunch plate or salad plate. So throw the wedge directly at the center of the bat. Squish it down by hand, make sure it's well adhered. I'm going to start the wheel on a little less than half speed. So less than halfway down with the foot pedal. And I don't leave my foot on there, I take it off. I'm going to start by just pushing straight down, flatten out that top a little and make sure it's fixed really well to the bat. And then I'm going to start pushing down with the side of my right hand while I squeeze the clay towards the center with my left hand. As I squeeze with my left hand, it's going to push the clay up into my right hand. As I eliminate the options where it goes, it's going to have to get more and more round. Find it helpful to remove that tiny little bit of clay there at the bottom that your finger can ride on, and then I'll repeat that first step where I'm just squeezing with the left, pushing down with the right. Now I'm centering it down because essentially with plate I just center it wider and wider for most of the shaping of it. So pushing down on top and letting the clay come out to meet my left hand, slowly moving my left hand out and just expanding the diameter of the piece. And as it gets wider, I am going to slow the wheel down a little, makes it a little easier to manage. And I'll start putting pressure in the middle of the top of the piece with this part of the palm of my right hand, right below my pinky. So I'll just push that down, draw it out, and let that just push the clay out towards my left hand. I want to make sure I have plenty of water because a little bit of friction can really start to mess with a plate quickly. A little bit of undulation, I'm just going to slow it down a little more and continue starting in the middle and coming out with my inside hand, compressing the clay. And that's a better part of the diameter that I'm going to get right there. So I'm going to compress that rim down, smooth it out, and start to open the middle just a little, trying to bring it down to just an even amount of clay throughout the middle, about a ½ inch thick or so. Making that pull with my left hand and running in front of it with my right hand to make sure that the clay doesn't pile up too high. I don't want to tear it off or anything. And just bring this lump of clay right out to the edge where the rim is going to be. Now that's about the diameter of the inside of the plate profile. I compress that a little more with my fingers, straighten up this rim, just compressing it a little more. And once that's done, I'll take my wooden rib and use it to compress the inside of the plate. Pressing down, right up to the center, but not crossing the center line because I don't want to gouge into the clay on the other side. Just use the contour of the rib to help make this just about flat. I want it to dish up a little bit from the center out to the edge of the plate. Drawing that clay out there. And we've gotten it mostly flat with the wooden rib. We use our red rubber rib here to smooth things out. Right up to the center, You can see this really smooths and changes the texture of the piece. Much more suitable for eating. It's more inviting when it's smoothed out with this rubber rib. I'm going to slow it a little more. Hit that again. I'm laying the rib more flat this time. Now I'm going to raise the rim here. I'm just going to do that by sliding the index right finger underneath the piece. And as I do that, it's going to raise that rim up, pressure on the inside, and then I'll draw the rim up. Just give it a nice little flat edge up here. Just a little finishing point. And smooth it out a little more, get rid of that little overhang. Moving my fingers across the rim, smoothing out the clay. And smooth it again with the red rib. And smooth this whole contour. Trying to hide that seam more between the bottom of the plate and the edge. Round out this rim a little with the rib. And remove any undulations. And take my wooden stick, undercut at the edge of the plate. Forming a place for the wire tool to go through. And if you got a little bit of slip sitting on the rim, just touch it up with your sponge. I'll slow the plate way down. Hold the wire tool tight between my hands, and I'll put it right down to the wheel head, and then pull it underneath the plate so that I cut it off of the back. And there we go. There's a plate.